Yo, this is the Jack of All Trades podcast. I'm your host, Jack Freeman. Today we have our guest is none other than Houston Texans legend and turned rapper Arian Foster. We talk about a collection of things. We talk a little bit about mental health and things of that nature, as seems to be the theme of a lot of our shows. But we kind of like breeze through the way he grew up, and talk a little bit about his football career. Arian's not much about talking about his football career, so I'm glad he kind of indulged me just for a second. Then we got into his after career life, going into music and art, and we talk a bit about him going back to school for math and wanting to learn physics and things of that nature. We talk about so many different things that just are like he has a wealth of knowledge of a wealth of just perspectives and opinions and stuff like that. We talk about how his religious beliefs and his lack of religious beliefs and how they came about and things of that nature. So he was a great guest. Shout out to Arian Foster, man. Hopefully really soon I'll be able to come back and do his. We actually did his podcast early on, and his laptop got stolen, and so it never came out. So that's a shameless plug, though. Go check out the Now What podcast by Arian Foster. It's great. He's got great guests, and he's a great mind. So, without further ado, we got to get into the show right now on them board.
Yeah. If you wanna ride, you better make up your mind and choose up. If you wanna roll in the passenger seat of my car, you better make up your mind and choose up.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is the Jack of All Trades podcast. I am your host, Jack Freeman. And today, our special guest, well, first of all, it's a beautiful day. It rained, but then the sun peeked out. We're at the Brooklyn Athletic Club inside the 75th and Canal
Nigga just died
trailer.
across the street.
Yeah, somebody died across the street. I don't know. He didn't die, I don't think. I hope not, but he's
You
like
don't
passed
know
out,
that.
and he's not waking up right now. So the amper lamps is outside, and they're tending to him. So I got my man DJ Prolific in the building. Always. We're at the 75th and Canal store inside the trailer. It's going down. It's a wonderful day. Today, my guest is a guy I met about a year ago around this time. He's had an illustrious NFL career. He is my first NFL player. So we started off with a producer and a videographer. We had the creator and the starter of the Nigerian bobsled team, Miss Sean Adigan, and they just made history at the Winter Olympics. Yes, it's big down there in Nigeria. So shout out to them. We had our first rapper, Slim Thug. We had our first photographer, Greg Noir, and today we got our first NFL player, or a former NFL player / now rapper and future physicist. Hey, we got my man Bobby Fino, aka Ray Jennings from Draft Day.
Ray Jennings?
And Arian Foster, guys.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. You're a hard guy to come by. You're a hard guy to get in contact with.
I disagree, man.
I mean, you're not a hard guy to get in contact with, but you are moving around a lot, and we've been trying to do this podcast for a long
Got
time.
a lot of shit going on, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Arian brought in the fam. Got the little one here. Got young Yoko out here. Yoko's out here flourishing. Got his fur flowing in the wind.
Mhm.
Got got the wifey out here, so it's good. It's a wonderful day, man. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, man. All is well.
Yes, absolutely. So I like to start the podcast by really asking people how they're doing. And you always seem to me pretty even, and I don't really, like, you don't really get too excited about stuff. You don't really get too low about anything. But those are the people often that no one ever asks how they're doing. So because they just assume everything's okay. And be it that, you know, the perception of you is probably that you're a rich ball player. Obviously, you don't have any problems is what the perception is going to be. So I definitely want to ask how you are, where you are mentally, how's your body feeling, things that you're doing to cope with whatever you're going through. And yeah, talk about that for a little bit.
I'm well, man. Apologize eating broccoli, but
it's healthy.
It is healthy. Yeah, I mean, I'm as well as anybody could be. I don't get too high or too low.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. About things, just because what I've learned in life is you just can't control anything. So
yeah, you're right.
I just kind of just take life as it comes. I do enjoy the good moments, and I just laugh through the bad ones. And that sounds cliche, but I literally laugh through bad shit, and people get pissed off at me, though. It's funny.
Yeah, like, how can you laugh at a time like this?
It's like it'd be like something super serious going on. I'm like, yo, like, man, and they're like, because what is wrong with you? I'm like, I just don't know how to react other than laughing.
Because what you're really laughing about is like, man, this is fucked up.
Yeah,
like,
this is fucked up.
We're here.
I don't know anything different than just like laughing.
Yeah.
Laughing is the
I feel you,
only thing that works, man. So yeah, I just be chilling, man. Body feeling good. On my post career, and trying not to get fat, man.
You know you've lost a considerable amount of weight since I met you.
Oh yeah, because I took like a year after I retired, and I didn't do shit.
And just you gotta decompress.
Yeah, and that's what I did, and I just drank liquor and ate like shit, and I felt it on me. So
when it grew that retirement beard and
well, I've been had a beard.
Well, I know that, but then there's a difference between the beard and then the retirement beard.
Well, it's just
the retirement
when
beard
you're retired and you don't have to like.
You ain't got to keep up no
appearances. I don't care anymore, like what people say or think. So
absolutely, and you shouldn't.
It used to, because when I was playing, it wasn't the era like it is now. So the era now is like, people are accepting of individuality more.
Right.
Whereas where we were growing up, like you had to kind of walk a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I think my generation kind of broke that ice, and then now these young cats are just themselves, which is dope.
So we can that's a good segue. We can go just to the beginning because obviously I caught wind of who you were being a Houston native and just, you know, following the Texans. So it was always a mystery to me where you were actually from. So you're from New Mexico, right?
From Albuquerque, New Mexico. Grew up. And I finished my high school in San Diego, California.
San Diego. Reggie Bush is from San Diego, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did were you guys' high schools like kind of in the same?
Nah, he was way up north in something called Oceanside, and we were like.
Oh, he went
south.
to Oceanside.
Yeah, we were like in South Bay, so I went to school in Mission Bay.
Okay, cool, cool. But
yeah.
y'all didn't even come out the same year, though, right?
It was 1 year before me. So he was 03, I was 04.
Okay.
Graduating class.
Yeah. Okay. And then you okay, so growing up in Albuquerque. So I have my thought of what Albuquerque is. And I'm probably and the only reason why I kind of have an idea is because I went to UTEP. So El Paso is basically New Mexico. So what's that like? What's that like being black? But you also have black, half Mexican, right?
Yeah, my mom's Mexican.
So what is like? Did you know? I guess the thing is like, do you know that you're black? Like, are there like? I mean, at that time, well, no, like at that time, like, do you growing up in Albuquerque is a predominantly Hispanic, you know, and white
by far, yeah.
So like hanging out with those types of people,
right?
Like, are you aware of your actual blackness?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And is that a thing that you've learned from your father, or?
I mean, it was you know where you fit in. I mean,
Right.
as a kid growing up, this is how humans are wired. For whatever reason, we divide amongst ourselves to the most comfortable groups.
Right.
Some kind of evolutionary reason behind it. But we always divide ourselves. So kids always divide themselves.
Black
Sooner or
kids hang out with
later,
the black kids.
yeah, sooner or later
yeah.
it comes up.
Right,
Why
right.
your skin darker than everybody else's?
Yeah.
And there were it was spotty, so I didn't grow up with around a lot of black people until really at all. There's just not a lot there. There were in the certain parts of the area, but the area we grew up in, it was predominantly Mexican.
Cool.
So you felt outcasted a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw the other side of racism, like the bad side of racism.
Right.
And it was from minorities. So you saw it from both sides. So you saw it from all sides really, which is interesting, and it's why I think it's part of the reason why I became so non-group oriented, and I'm more kind of just by myself, because you go hang out with the white folks as a young cat in that era, and they'll let you know that you're not white, and then you hang out with the Mexicans. They'll let you know that you're not Mexican.
Yeah.
You hang out with the blacks and be like, they'll let you know that you ain't all the way black.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I just stopped giving a fuck. Like,
and
fuck
you just start
all
hanging.
y'all.
Yeah. You just start hanging out with whoever you hang out
yeah,
with.
it
doing
didn't matter.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying everybody was racist, but it was it was a very it was influenced in my childhood. And my dad always tried to let us know where we were from and what it meant to be black.
And it's probably helpful because when you got somebody there to kind of like really show you what it is, and because again, when you're not hanging around a lot of black folks, you don't really see a lot of black representation. So it's good to have your dad around. It's like, hey, this is what you're probably gonna go through. This is what I went through.
Yeah.
What you're going through is a little bit different from what what I grew up with. I mean, because as you generationally, like I was listening to your podcast with Dwayne Brown, and how you guys were talking about how it's harder to deal with the issue here now because you have to convince people that there's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And before, everybody knew it was an issue, and most people just didn't give a shit. Mm-hmm. And then you had to make them give a shit, and then and some of them still didn't give a shit, but things started changing, right?
Yeah.
And so now everything is just like convincing people that you have that.
Yeah, you're trying to convince people that there's, but people will acknowledge that there's racism, but you ask them where it is, and they don't have a finger to point to.
Right.
Nobody knows where it is.
So how did that change? How did that flip going to San Diego?
It was a complete culture shock because I had never been around. Albuquerque is weird because, and it couldn't be just the pocket that I grew up in, but it felt like one of those towns where the goals and the aspirations were
a little bit lower.
They were just there. Like, so you go, whatever your parents do, like you try to just, you either do that or you just work a good job. Yeah, shit like that.
That's how El Paso was.
Yeah.
Because El Paso, like, you don't move to El Paso to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
You don't move to El Paso to further your career in anything. Right. Everybody's okay with being, like, El Paso's okay with being El Paso 1942 as it is, like in 2018. Yeah. Like there's no
growth.
Expansion.
There's no growth there because there's not a lot stimulating the economy.
Right.
So there's no tourist travel. Like people aren't going to travel there.
There's no entertainment. There's no entertainment. There's no oil and gas.
People go there to just retire, really.
Yeah, or to be in the military. Because El Paso has the.
I was talking about
Army
Albuquerque,
base.
but
but Albuquerque, like Albuquerque is like it always kind of seemed, and New Mexico, University of New Mexico being a rival, we saw a lot of that, and New Mexico State.
Yeah. That was way down south. It was like 2 or 3 hours down south.
It's like 30 minutes from El Paso.
Yeah, but coming from there and going to San Diego was a huge culture shock because you and when I went, so I went in the middle of high school, and the kind of things that was going on with the kids in Albuquerque versus the kind of things that was going on with the kids in San Diego were night and day different.
Right.
Whereas I remember my mentality in Albuquerque was like I was doing stupid shit, smoking weed, drinking, doing drugs, partying, just doing dumb shit. Was still playing ball at a high level, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make it to college, but not doing the things that I had to do to make it to college.
Right.
And then coming to San Diego, people had so much goals that it was infectious.
Right.
It was around you, and so it made you want to be like. When I left Albuquerque, my GPA was a 1.7. Went to San Diego, it was a 3.2, 3.1. And so like it's a mentality flip, right? So it's just you change the way you think about the things that's going on in your life. Right. And it was that environment that did that for me. I think Albuquerque, for me when I was growing up, it was a bad and negative environment because there wasn't a lot of aspirations that people were going for. It was just like, you know, it was rare if somebody wanted to go to college.
Right. So it's interesting that you say that because you have people that are exceptionally good at the things that they do. And then you have people that are exceptionally good at the things that they do and they work their asses off to a nauseating, obsessive level. And the reason why they do it is because maybe they saw someone else and they wanted to be that or they wanted to be like that. And so
you just see possibilities, man.
Right.
Like growing up in my neighborhood I grew up in, it was broke. It was dead broke. And so you didn't see anybody. Like I remember, like my dad played college ball, and he had a tryout with Denver for his rookie year, and then never played again. But I used to tell people my dad played a year with Denver Broncos, and people used to flip the fuck out, like, "What? Your dad did what? Like, it's crazy!" And like,
or like you lying.
Yeah, and you heard they're like you hear stories of like cats. Like so, there was this cat. His name was Bobby Newcomb. He played for Nebraska.
I remember Bobby.
He was called receiver, quarterback, punt returner. He was like an athlete. So he came from Albuquerque, and just the buzz around the city, like, yo,
he's gonna be the one.
He did it. Like it was just rare. Whereas like if you grow up here or in LA,
if you just won
a nigga getting a scholarship is like you supposed to. You nice.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You
where like
what you mean?
When we was growing up, it was like though cats didn't get scholarships like that. So it was like it was rare. Like cats didn't get discovered on the internet. And cats didn't get discovered with their music, and then like they're from Albuquerque. Like there was nothing like that. So it was like you had nothing to shoot for, and like people just live day to day, check to check, and that's why like I used a lot of drugs when I was little, was because there's nothing to do out there.
What drugs were you using?
I did. I mean, it wasn't like no hard shit. I did mushrooms. I did weed, of course, alcohol. I never did coke or crack or anything like that, but it was always around. I know cats is selling dope, smoking dope. It was just around. I'm 12, 13 years old seeing this shit. It's crazy.
The shroom situation was probably.
I'm looking for them out here. if anybody knows somewhere I can get some shrooms, man, hit me on the DM, man. It's dry out here. I've asked 3 drug dealers and none of them got me no.
What? You need to ask Face.
I'm not getting no drugs from Face. I'm not getting no drugs from Scarface.
You know what? You're right. I just saw him last night. Shout out to Faith. But okay, so your transition to how the fuck did you end up at UT? Well,
University of Tennessee.
University of Tennessee.
That's you call it UT. They call it UT. I remember when I first came down to Houston. What school did you go to?
I remember going to Knoxville and they were saying UT all the time. I'm like, oh, y'all went to UT? And I'm like, oh wait, no.
Yeah, they call it Tennessee UT.
Yeah.
But I was it was dope. My junior year actually. In high school, we're at a playoff game. We're playing St. Augustine. I remember shit vividly. And there was a quarterback that was playing for St. Augustine that all the scouts were real high on.
Mm-hmm.
And my recruiting coach told me this when I got there. He was the quarterback coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I had got off. Like, they couldn't stop me. I had got off, and I had not been on anybody's radar, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then right then and there, they offered me right after that game. And my stubborn ass, I should have stayed in the Pac-10, but the buzz in the city was, oh, he's a good running back, but he can't. He's not like
an SEC.
Yeah, he's not SEC caliber. Like, can't carry the load.
That'll light a fire into your ass, right?
And
there.
my dumb ass just wanted to prove people wrong, and so I went to Tennessee.
So was it in all, like, I know how you feel about the NCAA, and we could talk about that in a little bit, but In all, like, did you enjoy your experience in college?
I did, but I didn't. I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed the fact that I got to meet cats from all over the country. I enjoyed the fact that I got to play ball at that level.
Mm-hmm.
But there were just so many things wrong with the system that just skewed my worldview. And
Same here.
yeah, no, it skewed my worldview, and it ruined the experience of what college could be and what it should be.
Right. And you know, I'm like a proponent, just like I spent a little time within that system, and I saw guys that are in the league now, or maybe didn't pan out, or guys that are having great careers, and but I saw the system firsthand, and the NCAA is trash, bro. like the NCAA is like we talk about all the scams in the world, people slanging Herbalife or whatever. What you know what I mean?
Is that
like,
not good? I don't know about Herbalife.
I don't really. Fuck. I mean, because of the actual business model of it.
Oh, the pyramid scheme.
Like, yeah, like you should see. There's a documentary on Netflix, I think, and it's about Herbalife and about how they get how they get Hispanics to buy storefronts that don't have the labeling on it, and they call them health clubs, and then they bring these people in and they try to get them to sell product, but they're not selling the product, but they keep buying more product. So it's like if you got a t-shirt company, right, and you somebody gets you to buy 1,000 t-shirts, but you can't move the 1,000 t-shirts, but then their thought, you go back to the person that sold you the t-shirts and you're like, so what do I do? Oh, you buy 500 more t-shirts.
That's fucking stupid.
And then that's what they do. And then they have these, and these aren't like well-to-do Hispanic people. These are Mexicans that came in from.
That's why education is so important.
Yeah, and they come in and they take so much advantage of them, and then they have a garage full of Herbalife stuff.
It's just like business 101. Like how are you re-upping your product and you haven't sold any product? Like that's
right.
Business 101.
And they're trying to tell them that like, oh, you can do this if because it was a get rich quick scheme for them, and they sell them the American dream, right? And so they're thinking that you can own your own business, and this is all of these things that these trigger words that work for people that aren't very savvy in business. And so, but that's off on a tangent. But like I look at like scams, and we talk about student loans, and we talk about all of this stuff. The NCAA is quite possibly the largest scam ring, right next to student loans.
Yeah, that Wall Street.
Wall Street is Wall Street, but NCAA is the Wall Street of sports.
Yeah, it's
because nobody gets paid in the NCAA.
Oh yeah,
except
old white men.
That and it's funny. It's so crazy to watch how a kid, a 19, 20-year-old kid who's seemingly on top of the world, winning a national championship, winning the Heisman Trophy, breaking all these records, going to the Rose Bowl, going to the Sugar Bowl, all this kind of stuff. And then you look at that kid, and when I look at the kid, I feel sorry for the kid a lot of times because he's got so much on his plate and he's doing so much, but he ain't got no money.
Yeah,
he has no money, and it's a, you know what I mean? Like I had to explain this to somebody. I'm like, you don't know what it feels like to have to scrape up $65 to go and buy a video game that your face is on.
Yeah, well, they discontinued that shit.
They discontinued it, but I was on, I think, 08 and 09. NCAA 08 and 09,
right.
Which is great, right? You get to be on a video game, but then when you look at the way that it's
not great.
You're like,
it's not great. I was on all of them.
Yeah,
and I just remember thinking like, yo, this is the biggest crock of shit ever. I remember walking back because like our stadium.
I think I heard you tell a story on that documentary.
But yeah. So our stadium was like right down the hill. So it was like probably 200 meters from our dorm room.
Yeah.
And after a game, we would walk back, and I'm walking back, and like getting all these high fives from fans who were tailgating, and they had thousands of cars just lined up, people just merchandise, just everything, and it's just like, yo, this is such a big event, and I'm going back to my dorm room, and I don't have anything in the fridge, and I'm hungry as shit.
And then you called the coach, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, dog, we're hungry.
We called the coach, and I still get shit from Vol fans, Tennessee Vol fans to this day, because I said that.
That he brought you all tacos.
He brought me tacos, and so like I get like a taco tweet like every day. Stupid, you said you got taco. Like it's just corny ass people that
It's ridiculous.
That don't know shit about the system.
And it's funny because, you know, your coach is gonna pull up to you at the dorms in his Benz or his Lexus or his
nigga dropped 50 tacos off.
And he drops 50 tacos off. That's a tax write off, fam. Like,
nah, he can't write that shit off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But like when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's like you just bought 50 tacos for us, and you know what I mean. Like whenever I see guys that, you know, I see stuff about guys getting paid, in basketball and in football, I always say, you know what that's called? It's called paying what you owe.
Not even. So I've been tooting this NCAA horn for years and been getting chastised for it.
Me too.
And finally,
but I don't get chastised because you have the platform that I don't have. Really.
So niggas, I've been getting killed for years for this shit, and now I don't know who made it sexy, but now it's super cool to bash the NCAA.
Right.
But whatever. So like it was 2010, and Cam Newton had got caught taking all that money.
Oh yeah, his
and
pops.
They asked me about it. They asked me about it. It was on Radio Row, some radio show. And it was like, he said he took $200,000. What do you think about that? I was like, he was underpaid.
Yeah.
Super underpaid.
You know, I was watching Hard Knocks one year, and I think it was the Jets. And Joe McKnight, rest in peace, Joe McKnight. But God rest his soul, man. That was sad.
Ain't no God, but I feel you.
I remember he was at camp, and there was something that wasn't. He was a rookie, so it was like something wasn't going well for him.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach said something about, man, what's wrong with Joe, man? Like he's not. Something was going on. I think it was Bart Scott. He was like, he probably mad because he took a pay cut when he got here.
I remember that.
I was like, yeah, that's USC.
I remember that.
That's it. But yeah, like it's just we could do a 3 or 4 hour podcast about just how bad the NCAA.
I'm not wasting 3 hours talking about the NCAA.
Well,
I promise you.
So, and we're just kind of breezing through stuff. So like, you get to the NFL, you're a 5th round draft pick.
I was undrafted.
You're undrafted.
Yeah.
Okay. You undrafted. You get a call from the Texans.
All right.
Was it your only call?
No. I got a call from. Actually, I got a call from Seattle in the 7th round. There's like we got 2 picks in the 7th round.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed off at that point because I was slotted to go 2nd to 4th, and I slid all the way down to the 7th, and I get a 7th round. I get a call in the 7th round, and it was like, yo, we got 2 picks. We're thinking about taking you. What you think? And I was just like so unenthusiastic. I was like, yeah, man, that'd be cool. So they didn't pick me.
And, wow.
But it's the best. I was so glad I was an asshole in that moment because looking back in hindsight, that very next, so I played my rookie year. That very next year, I led the league in rushing. Mm-hmm. And when you're undrafted, you don't have a 2-year contract,
right,
as opposed to a 4-year if you're. So let's see, it would have been my rookie year. Next year, I led the league in rushing. Next year, I led the league in yards from scrimmage. And then that next year, I was like top 5 in rushing. So I did all of that, and then probably got franchised.
Yeah,
it's what's going on with Le'Veon right now.
Yeah,
like it's just shitty. They treat running backs like shit. But anyway,
they do.
But anyway,
but that's a point that I like. That is textbook. Like, even though you didn't know you were probably doing it, but that's textbook rolling the dice on yourself and taking a smaller look. For
I mean, I would definitely not. It wasn't planned. No.
But it was like a thing where you looked at it like, now you look at it like, man,
I'm glad I didn't get drafted in the 2nd round.
Because that's a hell of a gamble, though. That's a hell of a gamble to be undrafted because you might not make the team,
right?
And you could be good, and it may not have anything to do with what you're doing on the field, but they just don't have any room for you. And you go in and you play your ass off, and you ball out, and you know that what you have isn't very much. Like, you're on the low end of the totem pole as far as pay goes. Mm-hmm. But you're like, I gotta go, I gotta do this, and and then your next year, that second year is like when your contract is up, it's time to ball out. Like you gotta, like Isaiah Thomas say, open up the Brinks truck and start. But they don't really open up the Brinks.
He
truck
ain't say that. That's an old saying.
Yeah,
that's an old.
Yeah, that's true. But they also don't open up the Brinks truck in the NFL anyway because
they do.
The numbers are good. The numbers look good, but then the guaranteed money is a lot lower than what it looks like.
Yeah.
So, and it was even lower back then.
When I was coming up.
Well, because
my contract is one of the biggest running backs. So you have Adrian Peterson, and you have Chris Johnson. I think mine was next.
Actually. I remember them paying you because they was like it's either you or Mario. And
I remember that whole debate. It's insane that they have to do that shit.
It is insane. It is it's super insane. So, what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
I don't think I really ever had one. I think they got these things called welcome to NFL hits that everybody talk about.
That's what I wanted. Yeah.
So mine was Clint Session. Session 2010. We're playing at Indianapolis Colts, and he just fired off in my chest. And
were you pass pro or
no? I was running.
And
I got 5 yards. He got up talking shit. He's like, "Ooh, I know you feel that." And I was like, "Please, anybody feel that shit?" I could not breathe, dog. I couldn't breathe. I was in a huddle I couldn't breathe, and I just remember thinking "Yo, I gotta get down. This is not regular."
One of my favorite NFL mic'd up moments is Arian asking the guy to turn around so that we could see the name on his back because no one knew who he was, and I still don't know who he is. I still don't know who that guy is.
I do. That's the funny thing is I knew who he was. I was just talking shit.
What's your name, bro? Turn around.
Nigga name was Jimmy Smith. The funny thing,
was it Jimmy Smith?
Yeah, not Jimmy Smith. Jimmy, fuck, I forget his name. But I played against him in high school. And the reason why we was beefing is because when we was playing in high school, he choked me under the pile once.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I remember seeing him, and he did some silly shit under the pile again, and so we just started jumping, we started going after it again. Cause I remember that day.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, I remember that day in high school, we was ready to go to blows, and then I see him in the league, and we still popping off, but
that's cool.
Yeah, no beef, man. We good.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want no beef.
Ain't got no problem.
Nah.
What was your? We can leave names out of it if you have a story. But what was your? What's one of the wildest moments as an NFL player? Like it could be a hotel thing, it could be a locker room thing, or I guess if I did locker room, that'd narrow it down too much. But just crazy shit that people did, or maybe you saw a great player that just said or did something that was like everybody has a Michael Jordan story, right? Everybody's got that. Mike came in here one time and told me he was gonna give me 40, and he gave me 40. That kind of thing.
Nah, I never really had no moment like that. I never really looked for it, I guess.
I think it's a little bit harder in football because there's so many players.
Right.
So there's always the debate over who's the best football player of all time because there's so many players.
I don't think quarterbacks should be even in that conversation.
You don't think quarterbacks should be?
Fuck no.
Because of the athleticism?
I hate when they're the greatest athletes of all time. What are we talking about? What does athlete mean?
Michael Vick's an athlete.
Yeah.
And
he's one of the rare athletes at the quarterback position.
Tom Brady is not an athlete.
No, man, get the fuck out of here. That'd be why. You're a great thrower.
Yeah, and he's a great football mind.
You throw well.
Yeah, you throw really well,
and you know how to read defense.
So, who's your favorite running back of all time?
That's tough. I can't even. I don't know.
You got a top 5?
Yeah, I got a top 5. My top 5 would probably be Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, Walter Payton, LaDainian Tomlinson. Number 5 would probably be. Man, I'd probably go Adrian Peterson.
I was thinking Adrian Peterson.
Oh shit! Nope, I gotta take him off. Marshall Faulk.
Over Adrian Peterson?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
He had 1,000 seasons, bro.
True.
That's insane.
That's true. All purpose too.
I think Adrian Peterson is a better runner. Marshall Faulk's a better overall football.
Adrian Peterson is like growing up in Texas, like I saw like little stuff on TV because he was like at a small school up in East Texas. Like he's looked like that since he was like 15.
I had a homie that I went to college with, and a couple of them he went to the that U.S. Army All-American game.
Army All-American, yeah.
And so I remember him coming after that. Like you just meet all the freshmen and stuff. We're talking. He's like, "Yo, there's this dude that went to Oklahoma. He could go to the league right now." And I remember thinking like, "Shut your googly ass, shut your ass up." But then looking back and knowing who he was talking about, absolutely,
man. He I used to see him at track meets in the summer.
I heard he used to get off.
Oh my God, he looked like. First of all, I said, whose father is that? Why is he running in the 16, 17 age group?
Yeah.
How are they allowing this to happen? And like, he's just one of them guys that like you playing that like at a young age or whatever, and then you like, man, that nigga's car keys fell out his pocket on the way to the game. Like he's just been a man like that for it's incredible. And everybody has to say
just blessed.
Exactly. So, I think we could put a book in on the football aspect of it. Well, your career and all that stuff, because honestly, I've been to this guy's house and I never saw anything that had anything to do with football except Madden. That's the only thing in his.
I threw that shit away.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't strike me. Again, another thing is that you don't strike me as a person that is even really into worldly possessions, I guess you would say.
Mm-mm.
So like things just don't bother you. Like when you lose it,
my mom was pissed because during that Harvey flood, I kept all of my all the little awards, the posters, and all of that shit. I kept it in the garage, and that shit flooded. And she was like, "Did you keep it though?" I was like, "Nah, I just threw it out." Like the only thing that I was mad that got flooded, I took them to the cleaners. Though, was 2 jerseys that I had. They were my college jerseys. So that's the only thing that I've kept from my professional playing days. Is I have all the jerseys I've swapped with cats over the years. So I probably got like 40 jerseys with of my favorite players that I swapped with.
Yeah.
And then
did you lose those too? Or?
No, I got all those.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I took them to the cleaner.
Oh,
that's the only thing.
All of those? Okay.
Yeah, because whenever I get the house that I'm gonna live in till I die, I'm gonna put it in my man cave, hang them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, I don't really have anything that I hold on to.
Do you I guess what's to kind of like put a book in on it? Like, what's the most valuable and like positive lesson that you may have gotten from the NFL, or just playing and whatever?
I think it's the perspective on America. It's the perspective on this system that we're in. Is what I got from the NFL. It shows you how fickle people are, and so that's what I pulled from my experience from the NFL.
Did you see Jerry Seinfeld's stand up on Netflix?
I did not see. Jerry Seinfeld is not funny to me.
I think he's pretty funny.
I mean,
he's not like bust your gut open funny.
There
to me.
are
I think he's
millions of people across the world that think he is hilarious. I'm not saying I don't like the cat. I say he doesn't make me laugh.
One thing he said was
it's probably not gonna be funny.
Well, no, we were just talking about because we were talking about the fickleness of the sport,
right?
Well, of America, and he goes, so what you guys want to talk about? Like he's just in the middle of his bit, and this guy goes, I guess he's a Mets fan. He's like, "How about the Mets? Like, what's wrong with them? Who cares?" And he's like, "Think about it, man. We're really aggressive about players because they got on different clothes. We're just mad at them about their wardrobe choice for the game."
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it like that, it's like people have huge allegiances to teams or to, teams that don't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? Like, the owner doesn't give a shit if you come. Like, well, he gives a shit if you pay. He doesn't care. He doesn't care where the money comes from, though. You know what I mean? And, so people are going to be diehard this and that fans. And we forget that there's humanity in the actual athlete. And
I'm not even talking about that aspect of it. I'm not asking people to look at me because I used to be like, I'm a human too, but I just don't care about that shit. I'm talking about the aspect of entertainment has superseded art. It has superseded rational thought in our country.
Oh yeah,
and so
absolutely.
That's what I got from the NFL.
Yeah, that's very true. Because everything is a show. Everything is a show. And,
Our president.
oh man, that's the pillar of mediocrity. So we're gonna get into it, man. Like, so I was the way I met Arian is, Chill called me one day, Young Chill. Well, not Young Chill anymore, but
we all young to somebody, man.
Chill called me up around this
He
time.
actually is young. He only like 30, 29, 30.
Is he?
Yeah. I thought he was older than me.
I thought he was old. I thought he was like 34, 35.
Carries him. Yeah, I did too.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So Chill called me one day.
Young Chill.
And I didn't even know he still had my phone number. And he goes, hey man, he's just talking. He's just like offhand. It's like, yeah, Arian Foster is working on the album, man. Do you want to be on it? And I was like, who? And he said, Arian Foster. I said, he raps? He's like, yeah, he's actually pretty damn good too. And I was like, shit, yeah, okay, I'll go. And so we met, and I was genuinely ready to hear some whack shit. Some shit that I'm like, oh, he's trying, but, good try.
I don't think Chill would have called you out if it wasn't.
That's I don't know, because
has he called you out with some whack shit before?
No, he's never called me for anything.
Oh, okay.
And that's the biggest thing, is like, he just doesn't call me for much of anything.
Right.
So but like you see guys and they're sending you, and I've done music with ball players before. Like I got a song with Steven Jackson. I got a song with Ron Artest. You know what I mean? And but you go in ready for somebody to not be as in tune with the art, with the art of it, and they just trying to do the hustle part. And so you hit play, and I'm like, when you were done, I think I told you, I was like, yo, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
and like, I was pleasantly surprised about it, and I want to really know about like where does this start with you? Like, where does the art form of music start with you? Right. How does it nurture throughout your career, right, and how does it come to this point?
Right. So I started writing when I was young.
Mm-hmm. Poems, or
I started writing raps. That sounds corny, but I started writing rhymes. That sounds even more corny.
Even more corny.
But I started writing.
Yeah.
When I was real young, man, 8, 9, 10, and they were super whack. Actually, that shit got lost in the. I had.
Oh, you kept them?
I had notebooks and notebooks full of whack shit. But it was just, you could see the progression.
Yeah.
And all the way up to my college years, I had notebooks. And I started writing as a youngin', man. I was into music writing. I was into poetry. I was into just writing in general. And when I got to college, I spent my first Pell Grant on Pell Grant.
Equipment.
Yeah, Pell Grant. Yeah,
you get the Pell Grant. Did you get the full Pell Grant?
Yeah, I got the full Pell Grant.
That's
people
like
was broke, man.
Right?
Yeah. My mom was just two.
Oh, it was two? It was just two?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was a couple people got like 25, something like that.
Man,
splurge. They would have got TV.
People had to have no jobs because my mom was broke as hell.
Boy, it was.
But so I went and bought a computer, and I went and bought Fruity Loops, and I went and brought this program called Acid 5.0.
Oh yeah, I remember Acid.
Yeah, and I had made some music in high school with some with my boys, and you could tell young, that you're different than the people you're making music with. No disrespect to the homies, but
right.
you could just tell, like, yo, like, there's something different here. And
right.
I always knew that. And then started making it in college. That's when I really started harnessing my craft. And never wanted to put anything out. I really just wanted to get good at it and ride around and listen to my own shit.
Yeah.
And, I gave it to my family and stuff like that. And, they said, oh, it's good, it's nice. And then I got out of college, and I could upgrade my equipment a little bit. Now I got a little money, so I got real equipment. I got a real keyboard. I got Logic,
right?
Which is a recording program. Then the concept started getting better, and everything the quality started getting better. And then it got to the point where I was giving my family's music, and they were it got to the point they're like, yo, this is different. Like,
Yeah, you should really do
like
something.
you
with
should
it.
go ahead and try it. Like
Mhm.
nobody, especially athletes, are nobody's making music that's actually comparable to an actual artist.
Was it a conscious decision to wait until you retired? To
No.
really
See, I wanted to release an album mid-season while I was playing.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't because it wasn't ready, and so I think it's probably a huge. I mean, there are probably athletes out there who are talented artistically,
Right.
but you don't have the time to give to your craft
Right.
and the respect you have to give it in order to be a quality project. Which I thought in the moment I was like, no, it's just as good. But listening back to the shit that I was thinking about releasing, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't release that because you only have one opportunity to give people a first impression.
Right.
And so I didn't want to ruin it. Granted, my platform would have been bigger,
Mhm.
but this feels more organic and it feels more genuine because it is. I'm not trying to turn a dollar from this. Like if it happens, it happens. That's
Yeah.
what's up. But like I really just want my voice out there
Right.
in the stratosphere because I feel like it's an important one.
And the album is called Flamingo and Coval.
Flamingo and Coval.
You think I remembered that?
Got it trademarked.
You think I
Yep.
remembered that shit? So I'm not gonna put the pressure on you, but when is it dropping?
No. So I don't know when this podcast is dropping, but
It's like next week.
right. So I was just on the phone with my guy. We're slotted to end of March, like because what we did was it was brilliant. It was his idea. He was like, "Yo, just start documenting the process." So we hired a film crew every time we started making music or just around, and we just documented the entire process. So we got like 3 years of footage of just making the album, being in the lab with producers or musicians. So that's the homie. And so what we did was we put together like this little docu-series. It's gonna be like 5-6 minutes each episode. Is like 6-7 episodes. Just kind of documenting the process leading up to it. Had a listening party in New York and all of that.
That's dope.
And we're gonna sell it, and Title's gonna buy it, and so they're actually putting in an offer either today or tomorrow.
Shout out to Title.
Yeah, for sure. Stay black.
Shout out to Title.
So all of that has came to this point where we're finally ready to release.
Right.
And it's just a lot. There's so much that goes in on the back end with like media and marketing, and that's why I say entertainment has superseded art because there are probably some dope artists that don't know how to market themselves or brand themselves. Blah blah blah. Blah. It's an entire.
Or don't have the resources.
Yeah, I don't have the resources to.
And it just makes it even.
Because it's a lot. Like
that I've been in.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to process. You have to know the right people. You have to be around the right because like right now like I remember back in the day it's like getting like the Source article or yada yada yada. But now it's like you got to do your media run through New York and you got to go on a Breakfast Club and you got to like that's the venue to break your shit and then streaming services and there's just so much back end business shit that the average person doesn't know.
And it's a learning experience.
Because
when you because I remember like with music for me, I was like, how do I do it? You got to get a studio. You got to go to the studio and oh okay. And then I get to the studio and you're like, oh, so wait, I can't just sing this one time. I gotta like stack vocals and do harmonies and stuff like that. Oh, that's why that sounds like that. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so I got this. Now what do I do with it? Well, you gotta mix it. Okay, well, how much? Where do I go to mix it? Well, it's gonna cost you this much. Oh, and then and it's a
after
progression.
You mix it, you gotta master it.
You gotta master it, and after you master it, then you put it out. Well, you try to put it out, but then you don't know how to put it out.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure that part out, and it's just a constant learning curve. And then as you get older and older and older, or as you get further and further into your musical career, you start finding out other stuff like how you learned about streaming and like how this is gonna work with Tidal and how documenting the process is probably gonna be a godsend or or whatever sin as far as you go, but but it's gonna be like the best decision that you've ever made because then it brings people into your world and it brings people into like what you've been doing and I really like I would definitely say that like listening to the music that you play me, seeing one of the videos that you had done, it is advantageous for people. You're not gonna waste your time listening to an Arian Foster album. I'll tell you that. Like just off of just and this is just my humble opinion. I'm just a regular old singing nigga.
That's love.
That like, but this guy like really. When I heard the reason why I was like I didn't expect this is because this guy really put time in and really put effort into the craft of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of guys that, you know, dip into rap, like guys that just do straight, that just rap, not even athletes, they just rap.
Right.
But they don't have any.
It's a certain amount of artistic intelligence it takes.
Yeah,
like it just is like. Some people have it, some people don't, and like I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but it's like you know people that pick up a pen for the first time,
yeah,
and they can draw with the best of them, and you just have it, like you
right.
just have it, like, and there are certain things that you could do to harness your craft, but like some people are just good at what they do, and I was always in my head better at music than I was at football. I just knew football was the easier avenue.
Yeah, that's you know. For me, it was different because I was playing ball and I wasn't even thinking about music. Like, I liked it. Right. I really loved music. Right. Like, I loved listening to it and all that kind of stuff. Right. But it wasn't until after I was done that I said, I think I could write a song. Right. And then it just went from there. And that's just kind of how my life has just kind of panned out. It's just always been like, I think I could do that. And then I go and try it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I actually can do it. And, you know, and then you start getting, if you're anything like me, you start doing it, and then you get so obsessed with trying to be good at it that you just keep doing it over and over and over again until you're good at it.
Obsession.
And because then the athlete in you kicks in, and you want to be competitive. And so you're like, well, I got to be better than this person, or I gotta.
I think it's an athlete thing, man. I think it really is. I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
Nah, I think it's just a human nature thing. Like, we're always competing, whether it be in business, whether it be it's just the competitive nature.
But I think what being the athlete part of it that comes in is that it athletics nourishes that competitive spirit in you, right? Whereas
I think athletics satisfy the competitive spirit. I don't think it nourishes it.
You don't think that guys are driven to be a little bit more competitive when they see that like because
it's anything though. It's not just athletics. So like,
but I think there's people that are just by nature not as competitive, and they
that's what I don't think anything to do with athletics.
But I'm talking about guys that aren't athletes.
I know athletes that aren't that competitive.
Yeah. You're right.
Some guys just out there.
But you can also see that too.
Yeah,
guys that just aren't competitive, and you see that they don't play a lot.
Yeah, I think there's competitiveness, and then there's non-competitive.
So speaking of competitive nature, one of my friends, former teammate of mine at UTEP, also former Texan Quentin Demps, hit me the other day.
Q.
And what up, Q? And you know, we were talking about music, and he does a little rapping too.
Yeah, I heard.
Who's the better rapper, you or him?
Come on,
man. I feel like we should do.
No, we shouldn't.
Either my podcast or your podcast.
No, we shouldn't.
A rap battle.
Whatever you're thinking.
We should do a rap battle.
No, I'm not gonna battle, nigga. Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, I woke up this morning.
Nah, that ain't my cup of tea, man.
Shout out to Q, man. I'm eager to hear what he's got coming too, man. So your girl is also a painter.
Yeah, she paints.
Do you paint too?
I mean, yeah.
Like, are you like? Is it something that you like put?
No.
It's just kind of
like if we'll have like a date night or something, and we'll set up the glasses of wine and put some paint up. Yeah, it's cool shit like that. Yeah.
She's got very good work.
No, she's nice.
She's really nice. And I've seen the progression of her too.
Yeah,
I've seen some.
Well, that's how you know, like, some people are just good at, like, some people are just meant to do things. Like, the first time we painted, she was like, "Yo, let's get some paint," and we were thinking about things to do with my kids.
Yeah. And
she said, "Let's get some paint and set up some canvases and just have like a little fun paint night with them." I was like, "Yeah, great idea." I was like, "Have you ever painted before?" She's like, "Nah." So we just set it up. Boom, boom, boom. She started painting. And I'm like, "Hold up, Chris.
Like,
have you painted? Have you painted before?" You said you haven't painted before, and it was just like it was an amazing piece.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "This is crazy." And I was like, "Yo, you got to paint more." And then like she just started painting more and more and more and more. and it's getting silly.
It's crazy because our mutual friend, you good? Okay. Our mutual friend Blue. It did kind of warm up in here. Oh, them lights got hot. That's what it was. It was those lights.
Is it going?
But it's gonna pick up on the mic. But our mutual friend Blue. I met Blue when we were like, might have been 20, 21.
Right. You know everybody, dog.
Yeah. So
how does that happen?
Well, I mean, music. So like, but the way my life runs,
My life is
that
set up.
I have a pocket of friends who knew me because I was an athlete, right? Then I got to I started doing music, and there's a pocket of friends that only know me from music.
Right.
And then there's those friends that are like, "You play ball?" Yeah. And then there's my friends that know me from athletics. Like, "You do music?"
Right.
Yeah. And so like it just ends up being this like it's just a network of people that I just kind of like figured out and learned whatever. And there's people that knew me from both, right?
Yeah.
Those people that have been through been in my life for my whole life. And so I met Blue when we had to be 20, 21. Or I had to be 20 or 21 because he's a year or two older than me, I think. But I met his brother first because his younger brother, AJ. I met him because we played in the state championship against each other.
Okay.
And I didn't. So when they told me the Blues, I was like, "Hey, you related to Anthony Blue?" He's like, "Yes, my little brother."
Mm.
Damn. So like their whole family is a football family.
All right.
His pops played in the league too. His pops
I
played
didn't
for
know
like
that.
the Redskins, and
I didn't know that.
I think he played in the USFL.
He was
too.
actually just on my podcast.
A Blues on there.
Yeah. Well, we haven't released the episode yet, but yeah.
Like he was a DB in at a school in Oklahoma, I think.
Okay.
And so and his little brother went to Nebraska, played as free freshman, all that stuff. But I saw Blue when he was just pretty good, and then we see Blue now, and Blue is like amazing.
Yeah.
Like he's like one of our generation's like great visual artists. And
We actually talked about that.
I
I think he's a great artist. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I think what separates him is how he brands himself.
that too.
I think he's
yeah.
a marketing genius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. And he, but in a way, you kind of have to have both, right?
That's
He-
my reoccurring thing.
you got to have both.
Entertainment has superseded art.
Yeah, you got to have both. I mean, because you can, like you said, you made music at first, and you were just gonna tuck it in and listen to it in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need marketing for that. You know
That's
what
the
I
shitty
mean?
part. I'm thinking now is like I have to sell the product, and like that's what I've never been good at is selling
Selling the product.
selling
So,
my product. So it's
yeah.
like it's just one of those things where it's kind of like my podcast where I'm not really selling my podcast. It's growing huge,
Mhm.
but it's more so people hear about it for whatever reason, and then they continue to stay because of the content is good. And
Well,
that's what I'm hoping for with my music. Because I'm not a character. Like I'm not Busta Rhymes. I'm not Lil Wayne. Like I'm not a character, bro.
Yeah.
Like the content is just good. Like I could just see I'm just the easygoing cat, but the content is good. So hopefully they stay.
Yeah. So, but you have I think the reason why it's going to work for you is because you have, and same reason why your podcast works is because you have a perspective on things that people really are interested in hearing. They really want to know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time hearing, like, while you were in the league, I remember the first time a story came out that, Arian Foster says he's atheist. And I remember the backlash you got from people that, as if it mattered. You know what I mean?
That shit was funny as hell.
It was funny. And, like, but I also saw things that were a little much. You know what I'm saying? Like when you would get hurt.
Mhm. I still get that to this day.
Yeah. Oh, well, you got hurt because you don't believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro.
But it's that thought and that concept is what is plaguing our society today. There's no rational thought.
Right.
People just
say shit.
They just say things.
They don't-
Not only that, they just believe things.
Right. And
There's no rational thought.
and I think that the people that say things like that to you, also they don't know you. They have no idea who you are as a person. They just see the number on the jersey, the name on the back of the jersey, and with your helmet off, they see you.
Right.
That's it. But the rational thought that goes in behind how you feel about religion and things like that comes from an informed background. Your father was Muslim, right?
Right.
Was your mother Muslim?
She converted. She grew up Catholic.
Okay.
But she was she's coming to the side of atheism, but still on the agnostic fence. Agnostic atheist.
Right.
Well, because you can be an agnostic atheist, but she's unsure / unconvinced.
Is your brother is he Muslim?
I mean, I think maybe he would define himself as a Muslim, but if you asked me, I would say no. I would say he's just somebody who believes that in a higher power.
He just believes in God.
Right. But I mean, you have to ask. I don't. How people identify themselves is is their business.
Because it's I'm kind of curious as to how that conversation begins with you and your father, because your father's still Muslim, right?
Yeah.
So how does that, like, your first time saying, like, Dad, I don't think this is.
Well, I mean.
Or was it a gradual thing?
Yeah, it was a gradual thing. It wasn't like I woke up one day, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
It was more like, it was more like.
You threw your kufi?
Yeah.
You threw your kufi on the floor.
Never had
to do this no more, man.
What was dope about my pops and my mom was how they raised us. They always raised us with this. This is a foundation of what we believe. You have to walk your own path.
Right.
So there was never like this. We'll show you. Like I used to pray 5 times a day to the east. I used to do it with them. But I never was committed to the religion.
Right.
Like, I mean, how can a child be committed to a religion?
Right. Because when we're young, we just do it.
Nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So, as I grew, they kind of cultivated the seed of
free thought.
Free thought and just inquisitiveness. And so I used to have a whole bunch of questions. Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? And looking back, some of the things I think he fed me was bullshit, but it was what he thought was the truth.
Right.
But he gave me the best honest answer, but he was always like, you have to figure this out on your own.
And never stop asking questions.
Never stop asking questions.
When you stop asking questions is when you stop learning. So, and there's like 40-year-old people that stopped asking questions at 18. And they aren't very good at, at critical thought. And it's just interesting. It's interesting to kind of understand the path that you took, because you, I guess, growing up with a Catholic mother and a Muslim father, and then your Catholic mother starts converting to Islam, and then you're growing up and you got your own questions, and then you get to your point where you're like, I'm not convinced at all. And then your father is still there, and he still believes and he still understands. But I think the valuable part about it is that no matter what you thought or how you felt about it, they didn't judge you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will, maybe they'll stray away from religion, the religion that's being taught in the home, and then their parents ostracize them.
Yeah.
Or
which
just
is insane.
Yeah. Or they look at you as if, you're some criminal because you're not reading the Bible every day, or because you're not, praying 5 times a day, or whatever it is. And but that's a healthy environment to grow in up in, like somebody that encourages free thought and critical thinking, and it's just like, do what you want, just know what the hell you're doing when you do it.
Or nobody knows what they're doing.
Well, I mean, or just be informed about what you're doing. I understand that I'm about to go into this room.
Right.
I
mean,
understand.
it really, that shit kind of came in the latter part of my life, where rational thought, critical thinking kind of informed my choices. It really came end to post career.
Yeah.
Because, well, I was like middle, but there has to be some kind of foundation that you base your either moral compass or your worldview on. And for years, I was kind of just floating.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have even called myself an atheist like that, but would definitely poke fun of religion and poke fun of all of that.
Yeah.
But didn't really have a foundation as to what I believed. And I was mid-career, and I didn't have a lot of time to research what I wanted to research. And so post-career, I started getting more into why I thought the way I thought.
Yeah.
Why do people think the way they think?
And then you also have time at that point to really.
I mean, I had time. I was just using it differently.
Right.
I was living the NFL life. Like I enjoyed my NFL career very much so.
Absolutely. For a league that doesn't really encourage individuality at all.
Right.
Did you find it hard within your locker room to kind of be able to be who you are as a whole, theologically or artistically or anything like that?
I think the NFL is different than college. I had a harder time in college because I think in the NFL, people, first of all, you're getting paid, so
right.
You go there, you go to your job, come home, and you're living a good life. So for the most part, cats just let everybody be themselves. It's not like nobody takes it personally. But kind of like macrocosmically, I never fit in well with the team because like I see cats, like I see a lot of like championship teams and stuff, and see the bond that they created, and I never really created that bond or tried to create that bond with cats on my team. And there were certain individuals that I had, but
did it feel like you were conforming? If
you
did,
yeah. Because in order to have that bond, you have to buy into a certain ideal.
Right.
And part of buying into a certain ideology is giving up some kind of truth that you lay your hat on.
Yeah.
And so to me, team sports is just that. It's kind of falling in line, and I hated falling in line.
That's what I saw a lot of with Chad Johnson when he went to the Patriots. Because when you go to the Patriots, you're gonna do the Belichick Patriot way,
right?
But
he still didn't buy it. He did.
But see, my thing was that when he got there, he felt like he had to be a certain type of person, and so he didn't talk much.
Right. Exactly.
He didn't talk. He didn't do a lot of the dancing and all that kind of stuff. But then where the drop off was, then he's not the player that because he's thinking about, well, if I do this ain't what the Patriots do.
Exactly.
I could do this with the Bengals, but I can't do this over here. And so he's thinking about that probably while running a route.
I hope not.
Or he's just thinking like, man, like I just want to fit in. I want to
throws
fit
you
in
off your game
because he wants to win so bad.
Yeah.
He wants to win a championship so bad, and he thinks that this is the way that it has to happen.
And see, I think that's why I sleep so well, is because it was never like I wanted to win, but I lost zero sleep over
never having won
not having a championship or wanting to win a championship.
And you've always struck me as that type of person who was just like, like obviously you want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
obviously you want to go and you want to play. But people have this thought that like, oh, you don't want to be the greatest.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
You know what I mean?
It. I mean, there was a point in time, and this I always tell cats. So I feel like the difference between like average and good players is it's just hard work at that level. It's just working your ass off, and it's discipline.
Absolutely.
The difference between good and great players, like Hall of Fame cats, like that is what they want their legacy to be.
Right.
Like they wake up and that's all they think about. And I reached that crossroads in my career, and I remember it vividly. And I was like, I don't care about football as much as I do about other things.
Right.
But I'm gonna give all I have. But like that's why you see cats like hanging on till they're like 37, 38, knowing damn well they shouldn't be out there, because that's all they want.
That's all they got.
That's what they want.
And at that point, I feel like by then you're in a sort of a jeopardy, because in order to be great, you got to put so many hours in to do this.
I mean, you have to sacrifice your time with whatever kind of passion you want to do anyway. But more so, I'm just talking about that urge to want to be for either whether it's your ego or you really like football that much. I have no idea what it is. And I'm not talking shit to cats who feel like this. I'm just saying, like, whatever the case may be, like, you have to, like, totally be invested in that shit.
But I think there's a void, too. When you want to be that great.
I can't call that.
Like, when you get, like, because like you said, that's what you want your legacy to be.
Right.
Somewhere, and it could be anything. It just is like a void. Like maybe someone's like, well, I never got a chance to, to be a father, or I never got a chance to, get married and,
Or you can't even be a good. I mean, you can be. Don't get me wrong. You can be a good father.
Yeah.
But like, you can't be as active in your children's lives as a cat.
Right.
It's just
and
working a regular job.
I forgot who it was that really didn't have kids until he retired, and he was like 37, 38, something like that. I can't remember. Was it? It'll come to me, but that's an extreme level of focus.
Right.
To play in the league for 8, 10, 15 years and never having either. Derek Jeter didn't get married until like 2 or 3 years after he retired.
Yeah.
That takes an extreme level because you want your legacy to be this and this, and you understand that for you, maybe you understand that these relationships or these things can be a distraction, or I can't give enough time to that right now, and I don't want to be a bad father and my kids resent me because I've spent the next 10 years of their lives on the road trying to be.
If they're piece of shit kids, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that because we grew up broke. So like, my pop and my pop was working anyway, so he wasn't around a lot, but he was there. But I can't imagine like us living in $1 million home, and then I grew up resenting my dad because he's not there. Like, he's there because he's providing.
Working. Yeah, he's
Shut the fuck up, you
and
spoiled.
Yeah, and me and Slim, we had this talk about on the one of the last shows we did, and he was talking about how he's making it a point to really be a better father, and he was like, he's like, I got 3 baby mamas, and that's my.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. He's like, that's really the worst thing you're gonna hear about Slim Thug, but.
That's not a bad. See, I don't know why people think that's such a bad thing.
But it's not a bad thing. It's just like he was like, if
you
ever want to find something bad to say about me, the only thing that could even be looked at as
you enjoy children and you enjoy sex. How is that a bad thing?
You sow your royal oats.
It's only viewed as a bad thing to like these conservative,
traditional,
religious
everybody's
people,
all
like
up, tied up, and all that kind of stuff.
It's just not I don't understand. Like people be like, oh, you have 3 baby mamas. I'm like, yeah, man.
But it's like, it happened.
That's what's up.
It happened when 2 people.
I take care of my kids very well, man.
Absolutely.
Kids love me.
And it's funny because when I hit him up and he'd be like, man, I got the kids this weekend, or I got this and that. It's just cool to see. You know
got
what
the
I mean?
jits, man.
Yeah, got the jits. I got to meet them too. I haven't met the older ones.
You really have?
I've never met them.
Okay, yeah.
I've never met them. So
they'd be cool.
So another thing I wanted to talk to you about again is like I said, you don't really strike me as a person that's really into like worldly things. And I watched you literally lose your house in the hurricane.
Right.
And on the surface, I don't know what it was underneath, but you didn't fucking flinch at all. Like it wasn't even like when I would hit you up, I'm like, yo, you good? Yeah, I'm out here, and it's a lot of water in my house right now. And one of the things was like, he was like, at least the studio equipment is good.
Yeah.
and that was it. And you, like I said, 1, you didn't flinch, and then 2, also on the surface, from my perspective, it looked like you just got your resources together and you used them for everyone else before you use them for yourself. Yeah,
no, for sure. We were doing Hurricane Harvey relief stuff.
Yeah,
my shit was still fucked up.
Yeah,
I did help other people before I helped myself.
I mean, and that says a lot about your character, and a lot of like, again, things that like, and I'm sure you don't really give a fuck about how people feel about you, but it is one thing that like, on a personal standpoint, like, Arian's not gonna say it, but I watched this man like really do the most, go above and beyond for people that like he might never meet, he might never ever see. But I mean, we're at this gym, we're at his brother's gym at 9 Innovations, and there's truckloads of people, there's trucks coming in, and there's truckloads of diapers and clothes and baby formula and feminine products and all of these stuff that's going out to Beaumont, Port Arthur, just all around Houston, and there were other former athletes in that room that like Owen Daniels,
came out of support.
And I don't even know if any of these people really even want me to throw their name out there about like what they've done and all that kind of stuff, because it's probably not important to them, or that they get the notoriety of it. But there was people in there like Chris O and and Kiati was there, and that people that really genuinely cared enough to really just like whatever they were going through, because if you asked a few people in there, they probably like, man, my apartment's done, my house is done. Like, I saw a picture of your house, the water was damn near at the roof.
It was like 5 feet, yeah, 5 feet.
It was 5 feet of water in there, and did you lose the pool table, by the way?
Pool table gone.
Pool table is, oh man, so I can't beat you on the pool table no more.
You never could, but
man, it was 3-2.
I
beat you
drunk.
twice.
I was drunk as
You weren't drunk.
shit.
It was the middle of the day.
Wait, which one?
We only played once. It was the middle of the day. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It wasn't.
Somebody drunk. Yo, first of all, this nigga drinks Bud Light Lime.
Hold on, that's not my drink of choice.
Nah,
bro.
that man was good. I mean, it's good, bro.
It is good.
He was drinking Limeritas too.
Them shits is really good. Them shits is really good.
Arian Foster drinks.
I like
Arian
flavor.
Foster.
I like flavor in my alcohol. Like, the cats you be drinking shit on the rocks. I'm like, you just like drinking rubbing alcohol? That shit don't taste good. I don't. Who drinks because of the taste, dog? Like, it's ridiculous. You drink to get drunk. Like,
all right.
Do you drink for the taste?
Sometimes, yeah.
That shit's ridiculous. It doesn't taste good.
I
Alcohol
like
tastes like shit.
I'm on the miles and that yak, baby.
Shit tastes terrible.
I don't even like miles.
I used to smoke. I'm glad I don't anymore. I used to smoke Black and Miles a lot.
This nigga pulled out a Black and Mild one day. I said, yo, let me go
It's
get a
rare.
cigar for you.
It's rare.
I brought him. I went and got him a cigar. I was like, I'm not gonna let you do
But like,
this to yourself.
even then, like,
I'm not gonna let you.
I used to. I only did it when I drank. I used to like every time I got drunk, I would smoke a Black and Mild.
He was running through 6 packs of Bud Light Lime.
Them shits is delicious.
Come on, man. Northside, we don't. Come on, we don't. All right. We whatever, man.
Black and Miles were. I used to love, but I'm
now
cool
you just
now.
on them swishers.
I don't smoke anymore. Really, I just smoke weed now. So.
Yeah. So you gave up drinking for a year, right?
Yeah.
Gave up drinking. How you feel?
I feel good so far. It's been like 3, almost 4 months. So.
Is there do you have urges?
Nah, I wasn't an
Like,
alcoholic.
I mean, not like oh, I gotta
I
have a
was
drink,
shaking.
but like, do you ever like see a drink and be like, damn?
Yeah, I wish I could have a nice drink, right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's just like anything else. Like, I set a goal, and I'm gonna obtain the goal.
Yeah.
And it's for myself. I mean, I've been drinking alcohol
Since you were a kid.
consistently since I was a kid. But it really got bad when I was in college. I used to drink like a fish. Then I got in the league. I used to drink a lot. Even in post, I went ham again. So I think I just wanted to give my body a rest, time to recuperate from all the poison because I know it's poison. I know it's slowly killing me, but I enjoyed it.
But I do remember like when we first met, I was like, Arian done picked up a little weight. But
yeah, no, I did. I got big.
But
I got big.
you still looked functional.
Yeah, of course. I wasn't
Yeah.
like sloppy big, but
yeah,
I was like,
you still look you weren't Charles Barkley out here.
no.
but
I'll
you
never do that.
But
No.
never. But you just look like a
I got chubby.
yeah. You
I
got
got a
you
little
got
chubby,
chubby.
man.
You
I got a
probably
little
could have came back. And
But
played
that's when
linebacker.
when I was like, not to get grotesque, but like I was on the toilet and I went to go wipe and I felt a little roll and I was like,
you
oh,
was like,
hell
this has
no,
gotta go.
that's done. I was done, and so I started.
That's
back
extreme
working out.
dedication from your girl though. She stayed with you through the.
I
fact.
mean, nah, she was pregnant, so we was going through it together.
Yeah,
we
but she
was
had a
pregnant.
reason though.
But that's a real reason. So like, I mean, you ask people that are couples that go through pregnancy, they
Yeah,
both
they
end
start
up
picking up
gaining
the-
weight.
yeah.
Yeah,
So how much
it's a
weight did
weed
you-
pregnant.
How much weight did you pick up from retirement until like your biggest point?
So my playing weight was around 230,
Right.
and so the
And you're
highest
6'1"?
6'1",
6'1". Okay.
and the highest I got to post career was 250.
Yeah, that was about the time
20,
I met you.
yeah,
You looked
about
like you was
20
about
pounds.
245.
That's when you start. That's when I was like, I got to change because I was like, I started getting XL shirts and I'm usually a large, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy new shirts because I'm fat. I'm tripping.
Because I could control that.
Yeah, so that's when I just decided to change. But so like right now I'm like at 226. So I'm feeling good.
I met Eddie George last year during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That is a huge human.
That nigga big. He's 6'3", 2, probably 40 now, but solid.
He said his playing weight was 240.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was a different 240. It was not like
it
chubby.
was a
rocked up.
bodybuilder 240.
Yeah, it was rocked up.
He was when I saw him, he had to be about 250, maybe 255. But he still looked like he could put on a helmet right now
easily
and go hit any. Just like, and that's a perspective. Also looking at athletes and just being like, these motherfuckers are big.
Yeah,
these are huge people.
Cats is big.
These are huge dudes.
But to combat that, I used to think that too. Like, man, like professional, like I see these dudes 300 pounds, 600, but then like, and it's just always me. Is like I always felt like in my mind, I could outdo all of them. And so that,
right,
like,
yeah.
That, but like, cause like when you break it down, you can be as big and as fearsome. You can look you can look the part, but like you still got to see me 1-on-1.
Right.
I always
and
felt
so
like,
that's how I was because like when I was playing, I never went over 160. I was never over 160 pounds. I was a little
skinny
guy.
as hell.
I was a little guy, but it was mainly just
that's little. In football.
I was like 4 or 5% body fat.
Yeah.
I was just like.
Did you try to put on weight?
I did kinda, but I didn't really put a concerted effort into it. Like I didn't, and plus we had a shitty meal plan at El Paso.
I mean,
UTEP, it was our meal plan at UTEP was 1 meal a day at Luby's. Everything else we had to like get on our own.
Dang.
So we Jack in the Box.
That was real struggle.
We was trapped because we didn't have a cafeteria at the university. So everybody, because it was whack. It was super.
We at least had that.
Yeah, y'all was doing it up at UT. I've been to Tennessee, University of Tennessee.
No, I mean now it's crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy.
But I mean we had a meal room that we used to share.
Yeah,
but it wasn't as like now. Like them cats get their own spell. Like it's insane now.
Yeah,
it's insane now.
We was trash.
But
we
pay them cats.
I never got that big, but I ran. I hung my hat on being fat. Like I'm like, you're big, but I played slot receiver too, so I didn't have to run through between the tackles.
Yeah,
I didn't have to do none of that.
There's a lot of 160 cats out there, though.
Right? But I was out there like catch me in space, and it's over.
But if they do,
it could be. But I also never took really clean hits from anybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I was just shifty, and I was able to just kind of
my style's the same.
Yeah, and I got out of the game without having a major injury, and I was, I'm very grateful for that.
That's good.
Which brings me to my next thing. Would you let your son play football?
No, I mean I'm not gonna like beat him up on his way to his practice if he's insisting.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say no. I don't agree to it. I don't want you to. There's no reason for you to.
And it's mainly because of the head injuries and
100%.
100% of that. So how many concussions would you say you had?
My whole life?
Well, and just in the league.
In the league, a good 10, 12.
Lord, man. Yeah. I've had one in high school. Yeah. My whole body went numb when I did it.
Yeah, I've blacked out and woke up like 3 seconds later, but you're just under the pile, so you can't really.
Right.
And you wake up and then everything's just different.
What was worse to you though, the Achilles or the head injuries?
Well, obviously because
the Achilles is gonna linger. But then the head injuries linger too.
Well, nah, I haven't felt anything wrong with my Achilles since then, since the surgery.
Right. What was your recovery time? Like
I was back in like
7 months.
I was running. Let's see, I did it it was like October, November-ish, early November, and I was back November, December.
I remember watching you do it, and I turned the game off.
Yeah, like May.
I was like, fuck.
Like May, just like 7 months.
Yeah. That's normally the athlete's time of like coming back from the Achilles. Now, back in the day though,
no, that was career. That was a career ending. Yeah.
Dominique Wilkins,
yeah.
He blew out both of them, I think.
Ugh.
And
on the same play?
No, he blew out one, and I want to say he blew out the other though, like later on.
But like the way they're doing Achilles surgeries now is way more like because if you look at mine,
yeah,
it's like a super small little. It's very small.
Yeah.
But I know cats like Vince Wilfork did his, and his wole.
Yeah, he got a hack job done on his. Like,
and then keloids and.
Yeah, that's
But like I have like maybe half an inch incision, and they did a hell of a job. I haven't felt this since.
Do you feel after effects from your concussion?
Oh yeah. Oh no, concussions no, not yet. Anyway.
So you don't like feel like you forgot something or like you just get a headache every now.
No
and then
more than I did
before
ever,
right?
like when I was a kid or something like that.
Dude, because one of the things about like traumatic head injuries is that like these guys go into these really dark places and they get.
I have felt some of that, but I don't know if that is my apathy mixed with my pessimism. Because
Yeah.
the more you start to learn and the more you grow.
Yeah.
Like I envy those cats who are on those self journeys and they're just like happy with life.
Yeah.
Because the more I learn and the more I get depressed because of how one people are and how two people are taking advantage of people, and there's just this cesspool of what America is because of what I think it could be. So that shit is I get in a funk sometimes. I don't know if it might have something to do with CT. I don't know.
So do you ever like feel like depression or anxiety? Is that probably what you think it might be?
I don't have a reference point to say this is how I used to feel versus this is because how I used to feel was pure optimism, and then seeing a side of life that I never saw before, the money, the fame, the 1%,
what it does.
Yeah, like I think most people go into a little bit of a funk that are good humans that see that if you've seen the bottom, I grew up in the bottom of the bottom, and then you see the 1%.
Yeah.
Like you look at like Jim Carey, somebody like that, like he's had a brilliant quote. He said, "I wish everybody can get everything they ever wanted, so that they realize that that's not it."
Yeah.
So because you reach this point and you realize that there's so much more to life, and there has to be something more.
Right.
And it's depressing because you see everybody out here in this rat race just chasing their tail.
Right.
And you try to tell them that you're chasing your tail, and they go, "You're being condescending." But like, my nigga, well, you won't take my advice.
Yeah.
You gonna take a homeless man advice? Whose advice you gonna take?
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's me and Slim were talking about that too.
Thugger.
We're talking about what I was saying to him was like Kobe Bryant had a quote. He was like, if in my entire life, if the best thing I've ever done is play basketball, then I've wasted my entire life.
100%.
Because and you look at him now, he just won an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about basketball, but it was also him using and being creative.
Oscar is Oscar, bro.
Yeah, an Oscar is an Oscar, right? And it was, you know what I mean, like, but like you can see, like I really don't think Kobe, like it felt like to me Kobe didn't truly mature into this Kobe until he started getting hurt. Like it felt like his perspective changed on a lot of stuff.
I think it has to.
Yeah, and it's like I guess it's like the same situation that like when you have with your first kid. Now you start thinking like, well, you start switching the way you think about certain things, or so when you have a major injury and you start to see your career's mortality, and you start looking at it like, because then you start enjoying all the things that happen to you. Like you start looking back on the stuff that you did well over your years, and then you are grateful for that. But then you're also starting to look at the next chapter and like figuring out what you're going to do next.
Yeah, you have.
And I think that you are one of the guys that did a really good job of just like I'm retired. This ain't got to be a huge thing. I'm not about to sit up here and have a press conference with y'all. Like
they wanted me to do one.
It was real. Like I
didn't have no fucking
even
press
before I knew you, I knew that wasn't going to be a thing.
Right,
I'm like that. Like, come on,
Yeah,
he's
no,
not.
it
He don't want to talk to the media now. Why does he want to talk to the media in his retirement? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna just bow out gracefully, do my, go do my own thing, and then have a successful transition into my life because you're what 30?
30.
You're
30. 31. Shit.
You're 31.
Yeah.
You're old as fuck.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But
you're young to somebody, man.
But not like you're 31. You got at least 70 more years. You know what I mean? To just
enjoy life,
and live, and all that kind of stuff. That's why I like to see my dad as a retired man. He's 67.
All right,
and he's just like he just gets to enjoy his life. He gets to sit at home and do nothing if he wants to. He gets to pick up his camera and do photography if he wants to. And
that's why I feel like that's how life is supposed to be, though, man. I retired my mother and my father And I just feel like that's how life is. You're supposed to wake up in the morning and just be inspired. But like I said, man, we keep running this rat race, and you have to find a way to keep the lights on, and it's just sucking the soul out of human beings slowly.
Man, been there.
Yeah.
And it's I think part of it is coming from like sometimes not having a real passion. For some people,
I don't understand that shit.
Yeah, like some people don't have, and I've talked to people that's like, look, I don't have a talent. Like they just like,
but I don't believe that shit.
And so my thing is that like I think maybe you do, you just maybe aren't interested in the thing that you could be talented.
Nobody has a talent. Like
some people are good at what they.
Yeah, but everything is subjective. So if like you was to tell me Jean-Michel Basquiat has good paintings, I would say I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think that shit is terrible.
Yeah.
But to some people, it looks amazing. $100 million worth of amazing. And I don't agree. Right. But like somebody looked at me like, yo, that's talent. And I'm gonna look at them and be like, that's whack. But it is what it is. So like it's not even about talent because everything is so subjective. Right. Everything is so subjective. So you have to find out what you love to do.
But I think to that point though, the only reason why I would say that there is a talent aspect of it is because.
But what is talent? What is
talent? Talent as in like, this is something that this is something that I'm good at, right? Now.
But that's what I'm saying. Unless it's an objective thing where you can say you're good at.
But like Will Smith said, there's a difference between talent and skill. Talent is when you're just good at it, and it's just your natural thing. Skill is when you take that talent and you get it to a point where you've worked so hard at it and you've been so obsessive at it that it now becomes a skill and it's second nature, and it's like you don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, but even in that context, talent becomes relative. Right. So it's like if you look at Will Smith's very first acting things.
Yeah. Probably wasn't a great
actor. You could say, oh, he was talented. But if you look at him compared to where he is now, like, no, you're not talented. Now, a lot of people like, you should probably focus on what you need to focus on. Right. But, like, he fell in love with it, and he harnessed his skills to then say, oh, look how talented he was. Yeah. Was he talented, or did he just love the shit?
Well, that's true. That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I think it's just it's an excuse people use to say that because it's scary. It's scary out here in this world trying to find out. It's scary out here in this world trying to figure out your own way without having somebody to depend on for a paycheck, to sit here and say, I'm going to make my own way, because this is America. This is not a third world country. This is somewhere where if I have a product and I'm selling this product, I can make a living off this shit. So, but it's scary for people to let go of that rope that they're swinging on and grab another one, but that other one is independence. Mm-hmm. People are scared of that shit, and that shit lends to that excuse.
But would you say, because like you were talking about, like when you were playing football, you was balling in high school, right? But you was smoking, drinking,
right?
Doing all the.
Actually, in high school, I was chilling. First part of my high school, I was super on the stuff, and then later part, I didn't do anything. I was square.
When you went to San Diego, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. I cleaned up my act.
So like, but you were probably pretty good at when you were in New Mexico.
Yeah,
right?
I was balling still.
So my thing is that there are guys that literally can't do that. They can't smoke, they can't drink, they can't do none of that stuff,
right?
Because if they do, then they're whatever it is that they're doing falls off.
But I'm saying it's relative, right? This is why it's relative. So, and it wasn't like in high school I wasn't doing anything. I was running hills and shit in high school.
Yeah.
Right? But I was still just smoking and drinking, doing stupid shit. In college, I did the same thing that I did in my earlier part of years in high school. I was smoking and drinking. I was okay. I was okay, but I was nowhere near the athlete I could have or should have been. Mm-hmm. Then I got to the league, cleaned my act up again, and I took off athletically, right? Yeah. So, like, it's relative because in that high school context, I was just leaps and bounds better than everybody for whatever genetic reason, right? But that, like I said, that talent is relative, and it can only take you so far.
But you don't think that's based in the... Well, yeah, it can only take you so far, but you got to nourish it. But what I'm saying is that at the core of things is like you have a talent. Like this is like I can run really fast, or not maybe, or maybe I can catch a football really well.
But then, in that sense, everybody has talent in everything.
And that's what I'm saying is that like some people tell me that I don't have a talent, but I'm like, I don't think it's that you don't have a talent. I just think that you're not passionate about the things that you might be actually good at.
The problem is
you might be really good at math, but you just don't like math. Or you might be a good volleyball player, but you just don't like volleyball.
I think it's people not wanting to explore themselves. They'd rather spend all day on social media, rather than saying like, "Yo, what makes me happy?" How many times do people ask themselves that question? Like, what makes me happy?
I realized a couple of years ago that I really wasn't using all of my brain. Like I wasn't utilizing my because I can do a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't utilizing everything that that I even had access to, or like the part of my brain that I had access to, and just things like it just dawned on me a few months ago that like, Jack, you can actually still be an athlete and be an artist. So now me and my friend, we coach a 7-on-7 team for youth, all the way up to like 14 or something like that. And then I started training wide receivers to do, certain things, and not to say that I'm fucking Jerry Rice, but like this is the part of my time in my life where this probably would have been my prime as an athlete, because your prime is when your body catches up with your mind. I feel like, because as an athlete, when your body, you're good. You're like, I'm fast at this and I'm good at this. But then when your mind starts to, when things start slowing down for you, when the game starts slowing down for you, that's a mind thing as well.
Well, yeah, but I think, are you talking about like just your basic intellect? Or are you talking about
not the intellect? I'm talking about like even going back to football. If like the things that are being taught to you at a young age are still kind of tough, like the IQ of the game, right?
Right.
The IQ of the game is like it might move fast for you at first, but then when your body is like, when your mind is like one of those days when it just, everything slows down, everything looks like it's in slow motion, and you can see that safety coming down, or you can see that corner getting ready to build, and you're like, oh shit, this is what this is what they were telling me at first. And then you mix that with my body's in condition. I'm doing everything that I can, to get my body right, and everything is slowing down. That's when the prime starts. That's when it's like how LeBron is just like a couple years ago when he's flipping the ball in front of Serge Ibaka in the 3-point line. You're like, dog, this is the middle of the game. And he just popping jumpers in his face. And it's like, and now he's just like, because at the beginning, LeBron was just the athlete and he was smart. But then it was like, there was a point where the game, like, you could see it. You could see, like, LeBron was like, wait till I get a post game. And he got a post game, and it was just like, oh, like, this guy's not going to be stopped for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think there's a point in which some people reach it earlier, some people reach it later, some people never reach it. Some people just don't even put the
time in.
Yeah, they never put the time in. But yeah, man. Like, so you say end of March the album dropping?
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope.
I'm
happy for it because you pushed this shit back like Detox.
It's not my fault, man.
It is your fault.
That's the crazy thing.
It is your fault.
Nah, I promise you.
It's totally your fault.
Cause the problem with it is, and I didn't know this before, but using samples. So when you use samples, you have to clear them.
Yep.
And that process has taken. We were ready. The album was done being mixed probably in November.
Yeah. I remember.
And it's in March now, and we started the sample clearancing process a couple months before it was ready being mixed. So it's probably going on 6 months now.
It's a lot of money to clear.
Yeah, The problem is,
especially when it's coming out of your pocket.
It's really not. It's not. So it'll be like, it's like if you use one sample on your album, it wouldn't be that much. It probably end up costing like $7,000. Yeah. But the problem is like each each song you use has 3 or 4 different channels that own the rights to it, and so
Right.
you have to pay them
For
all off.
everybody. Yeah.
And you have to
Yeah.
pay the people that are getting it cleared.
Songwriter 101, guys.
Yeah,
If you use a sample
gotta pay for that.
and you want it to be anything, you got to clear that shit.
I
Either
think
that,
Cass is coming up though.
they just doing it.
Yeah, just put your shit on SoundCloud.
Yeah, just put it on SoundCloud.
I wouldn't even.
Or
Only reason why I'm clearing it now is because I know if I'm using any kind of sample, that somehow get around like, oh, he's an ex-NFL football player. He has money,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
go
we
straight
gotta
for
go
the
get it.
pocket. So I have to.
I met Static Selector a few years ago at South by, and for those that know, Static Selector is a very, very prominent producer from the East Coast, and he said one thing he said about samples. He was like, "Man, I just worry about it when I just put the shit out, and I worry about it when somebody asks me about it. But if nobody asks me about the sample, if nobody comes to me with their lawyers, then I'm not really worried about it." And he was like,
Yeah,
he's like, "I'll cross that bridge when I get there." And
That's terrible.
and I was like, "Okay, you know."
Who is this?
Static Selector.
I don't know who that is.
Ask Hit Boy who's Static Selector.
Has he had like
He's a,
some number one hits and stuff?
He's not. He ain't Dre as far as success goes, as far as prominence goes.
I'm saying
but he's
if you've had any kind of like charting music that has samples in it, like they're coming for you.
So he's like, yeah. I don't think they've charted.
Yeah.
I think he's been really good at that mid-level
Right.
hip hop where it's
Yeah.
like,
If
I'm
it's
gonna move 30, 40, 50,000 units, independently, but he
Yeah.
hasn't hit that platinum.
okay, so if it does ever,
Oh yeah, if
oh,
it
they
does,
coming
he's-
for him.
If he does, he's
They're coming for him.
he's screwed. But yeah, he was like, I was like, okay, well,
No, but that makes sense though. Like I wouldn't even advise cats like who's just starting out with music or in that underground
Yeah.
independent way. I would just like making music. Do what you gotta
just
do.
do what you got to
But
do.
just know, like, if one song catches and it starts getting radio spins and it goes viral or something like that, and it has a sample in it, like, they're coming for you.
Marvin Gaye's estate come knocking at your door.
They're coming for you, man.
and,
They're coming
they,
for you.
and they come and do you like they did for real. What else you got coming, man?
Just that, man.
Documentary and
I got a documentary I'm trying to work on now. I got a couple scripts in the works that I'm trying to sell.
dope. Can I be in the movie?
If when we get there, man. When we get
Oh,
there,
I wanna be-
it's a long process, man. Also, the podcast is popping right now. We're up to like 300,000 listeners a month, and growing.
That is the Now What podcast.
Now
right?
What podcast?
He's got some great, check it out, man. He's got some great guests. I just listened to the Snoop episode, which
Whoop.
was incredible.
Yeah, that's the homie.
Dwayne Brown's was great.
Yeah, all of them are great, really, man.
Yeah, my favorite one though was Jamel Hill.
That was a good one.
Jamel Hill was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Charlemagne with Charlemagne.
Yeah. That was a good conversation. though.
It was a good conversation. It was
I
a very
appreciate
good
it going
conversation,
through.
man.
But
So,
yeah, that, man, and then taking math classes, getting back into school.
how is school?
Keeping
Where are
it
you
fresh.
taking this classes at?
Right now it's called Mathnasium, so I'm getting caught up in all the
Oh, okay.
maths
Yeah, yeah.
before I actually enter the university.
There's a mathnasium in
Yeah.
Cyprus that I
Yeah. I use the one in Sugarland, but just getting back into the groove of math because I'm going back for physics, so you need to know your math
Right.
before you.
So what do you
want
to do with physics? You just want to know.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we know how the sun is perceived to come up and go down. It's the reason why we know how what energy is, what light is. It's the most
Have you
beautiful.
ever met Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, I met him.
How was that conversation?
That's dope. We actually did an interview with him.
Yeah.
So I think I can't remember the magazine, but I interviewed him. And I was on his podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
It was super dope, man. Super dope conversation. And I wish I had a chance to do it now rather than back then because I'm so much more inept and scientifically literate to where I can ask like the deeper questions that I really
Right,
want to know
right.
now.
Well, I mean, I feel like you'll meet him again.
Oh yeah, no,
You'll
for
be
sure.
able to,
He's gonna get on the podcast. I got high hopes for this thing.
Oh
man.
yeah. I hope. So how was your journey to get Jim Carey on the podcast?
It's coming. At the end of every podcast, we ask our guests to tell Jim to come on, and so I think we're gonna drop it here soon. Probably. I think we're gonna maybe go to because right now we're almost at 20 episodes.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna go to 30
Yeah.
and then release it.
So you did one with him?
Huh?
You did one with him?
No,
Or-
no,
or-
no, 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 no.
Oh, you just
We just want to put the pressure on it. I'm talking about like I want to cut up everybody's.
all of them and then do
Yeah.
it and then send it to him.
Yeah, send it to him.
That's dope.
Put it online.
I think the one that's gonna get him might be Snoop.
Snoop's is hilarious.
Snoop said, "Hey,
Bring your funny looking ass.
bring your phone. Like, let me show you something."
That nigga's
He
stupid.
said, he said, bring your ass to the podcast, man. That's Big Snoop Dogg.
That's big Snoop.
He
though.
said, you ain't doing shit anyway.
Yeah.
But he
that's-
might be doing something.
He's probably doing some.
He's probably.
But either way, man, if I get him on or not, it's just a funny little tagline to end the podcast on. But like, I want him on 100%.
Yeah.
But like, who knows?
Yeah. Who's the
Never know.
most? We almost done here. What's the dumbest shit you bought during your career? Dumbest thing you spent money on?
I bought a chain.
You bought a chain?
I bought a Cuban link thick gold chain.
You still got it?
Yeah. But I didn't buy it like early. Like I bought it like late.
Later on.
Yeah,
Okay.
So like I didn't have any dumb purchases early on. I saved the shit out of my money. So at this point, it was like I was playing with house money at that point,
Yeah.
and I was like, let me get a Cuban
So
link.
it wasn't stupid.
It stink.
It wasn't.
It's worth like 50, but I got it for like 13.
So you never like went to the club and threw a bunch of money around and.
Yeah, but never more than like $200.
Yo, I thought you was about to say like 20 grand.
Nah,
This dude said $200 at the club.
Never.
No bottles. We ain't get no bottles out here. That's funny. He said, "Yeah, I did, but it was."
I got
just
some
like
bottles,
$200.
but I never threw no like crazy amounts of like.
Not no rack. Did you? Are you a strip club guy?
It depends.
Depends on the strip club.
No, it depends on the mood. So like, I'll
Okay.
go.
If you already rolling,
Nah. Well, yeah. If it's a night out and I got the homies like in town and I ain't
Yeah.
seen the cats in a while, like I'll go. Like when I was younger, yeah,
you was in there.
I used to go in there.
What's
throwing
the most you
my
what's the most you
$200.
spent? $200 at the strip club is the most.
Now then I was probably like, I've done 1,000 before, but it was never for myself. It was always like getting something for my guys, and
You spent? and picking it back up when you throw it.
I didn't pick it back up. That's disrespectful.
I'm just saying, James Harden got you beat, bro. I've seen James Harden.
Oh, of course.
James Harden was.
I've been in there with him.
He was at Dreams just flicking money off the
Yeah.
balcony, and I was just like, "What is?" Perk too, Kendrick Perkins.
Okay.
He's a strip club guy.
All them basketball cats, they got monopoly money though. That's
Yeah, they
different.
got guaranteed
That's
contracts.
different. But it's
So,
like them niggas. They just so visible. They have every
Yeah,
opportunity
yeah.
to monetize every single avenue.
everybody. So what was your biggest like any celebrity or athlete that you met and you kind of like fanned out in your mind like damn that
Kobe was the only one.
was the one you was like damn this is really Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, everybody else is just normal. Like
Everybody's
I met Braun. I met like, but I think at that time my mindset was different. So I met him in 2012.
Oh,
But I grew up on Kobe, so
Yeah.
it was like any celebrity now. I'm already like a grown up, so
Yeah.
it's not.
And you're in.
I'm
some
still a
ways-
fan of people, but it's just I'm just like, oh my fucking god, that I was like, yo, it's Kobe. Like,
Who was the one person that told you they were a fan of you that you were like, oh shit,
oh, a lot of people actually.
that
Kobe,
really, yeah,
LeBron, I can't think.
it's
right
cool
now
because they
off the top of
realize
my
you're a
head.
peer. You realize that you're a peer when they tell you.
I don't think I am though, and I tell you what, I'm not a peer because, people, that celebrity life is different, man.
Well, yeah,
It's a huge fucking
but
front.
I mean a peer as in terms of being an athlete and then looking at the athletes that you grew up watching and then them telling you, no, like I fuck with you.
Right. Okay.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
Eric
Yeah.
Dickerson was one. Marcus Allen was one.
Wow.
Yeah. Those are super dope. But I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna sound like an asshole saying this, but I just don't care that people cared about how I ran. Because it's so insignificant to me. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Like if somebody,
One time when you ran the ball,
if Michio Kaku, who is a theoretical physicist, if he comes up to me one day and is like, yo, I listened to your podcast and you have some deep, insightful thoughts, to me that far
Far
outweighs
exceed.
any kind of athlete telling me they like the way I ran. And no disrespect to athletes or athletics in general.
Yeah.
I came from that mold.
But it's another thing is like if the only thing you've done well is play, well,
It's
the best
just-
thing you've done is play
because
football, and then you've wasted your
I mean,
life.
when you look at it like there's people in Africa who don't give a flying fuck about you
About-
putting a ball over a rectangle, the line of a rectangle. It's the stupidest
Yeah.
shit ever. Like,
Absolutely.
trust me, I appreciate everything that we have and I've gotten from this game, and I appreciate people appreciating me. But in my mind,
There's just more
it's
out there.
just
for
so insignificant.
Yeah.
I didn't help humanity forward at all, and so that's what I'm trying to do now is
you. I'm with it.
help humanity move forward.
I like it, and I like watching you talk shit to people on Twitter.
That's an everyday occurrence, man.
Yeah, that's funny as hell to see. Yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming through, man, and
I appreciate
carving
you.
out
having
some
me.
time. We was here for a while.
Yeah, you had a photo shoot before this shit too, so
I had a 20-minute photo shoot, and then
Yeah.
the guy passed out.
that's
and
great.
I
Yeah,
didn't think he had arms, but he did.
he did.
Yeah. Yo, that was crazy. Man, anything else you want to plug before you?
Nah, man, you got it. Podcast. Check us out. Now what? Subscribe on YouTube. We almost at 10K subscribers already. Yeah, man. So that's dope. It's hard building some shit from scratch, man, from organically.
Yeah.
I know I had a little bit of fan base, but they still ain't checking for you like that. Especially when you're retired, niggas don't care, man. So I appreciate the growth we've had.
Well, the name of this podcast is going to be called Flamingo and Coval, so people know where to.
No, don't let that leak yet. Call that shit.
Well, you already said it was called that on the.
Yeah, I said it was called that, but like to title that might give somebody an idea and try to. Oh, we got it trademarked anyway. No, you good? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a trademark.
Flamingo and Coval. Yeah. You know, we're
Yeah.
good out here.
You know, we
Good
good. I
out
got
here,
I got a
son.
trademark, or else I'll be like, no. I forgot about that.
That's true. Yes. So, album's coming end of the month.
Album's coming. We're gonna drop some merch with it, and merch is more for support than anything else, man. So you can keep dope shit popping.
And we're gonna do more music.
100%.
100. We're gonna do more.
That means
music.
yes.
We're gonna do more.
That means yes.
Okay. I still haven't been to the new house either. I gotta.
You don't want to make that drive. Nobody want to make that drive.
I don't care about like it's Houston. I drive everywhere. What are you talking about?
Come on,
That's what we do.
we here. Pop's finna grill the next couple weekends. So
Oh yeah.
Pop's throw
Wait,
down.
which weekend would that be?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay. You gonna be at Austin and Southpaw?
I'm not good around crowds. We'll see. I have yet to go. So
Don't really seem like something you would want to do, but
yeah.
it's different. Yeah. It's super corporate now.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
I'll be out there. I got a few shows, so but yeah.
Keep riding,
Man.
man.
I appreciate you so much, man.
No doubt.
Thank you for coming to the podcast. This is like 2 months in the making.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was cool, man. It was a great conversation, I think, man. Did you have fun?
I did have fun, man.
I like it. So how we're gonna end this is we're gonna get you to try to get Jim Carey on my show.
Yeah.
We're gonna see who can get him first.
Hey, Jim, fuck this show. Come to mine.
Okay. All right. We'll do it. But actually, yeah, that's what we can do. Jim Carey, if you ever listen to Little Old Me, go to Arian Foster's podcast so that I can listen. I actually would like that to happen so that I can be there for it.
Man,
I just want to sit there and be like,
everybody says that, though.
yeah,
Nigga,
I wanna
that room
be
going to
there.
have like 50 niggas in
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be a live podcast. It'll be a live podcast.
That'd be dope.
It'll be a live recording. Shout out to Jonathan Grimes too, man.
That's my guy.
Your other, like that's the
He
kind of the co-host.
He's
of the podcast.
he's in life right now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in life for sure.
You know, I still haven't met him yet.
You know
Like-
about Grimes?
I met him like
passing?
FaceTiming him one day,
Really?
and I talked to him.
He always been out of town every time he came
when
through?
we did the podcast that
Right.
that we lost.
Yeah.
He was out of town.
That's right.
So yeah. So shout out to Swag.
That's the homie.
Also a very talented,
Very talented.
very talented musician. So,
Relatively talented.
relatively, very skilled.
Because that's the funny shit. He'll tell you, not to keep it going, but he'll tell you, because he plays the piano
Yeah.
real nice.
Yeah.
But
he's
he'll tell you first, he'll be like, yo, I'm not good at this, I promise. He'll give you a link to some cat that's super crazy,
That's super good.
but relatively
And you be
he's
like-
absolutely correct.
Like dog, like he.
Yeah, because I play piano, but relatively
Yeah.
I do not play piano.
Yeah. That's like Chill was like one day he was playing. He's like, man, I got to transpose this keyboard because I'm not really good like that.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. It's a real thing.
Man, again, thank you so much, man. I'm about to go figure out get me a burger or something over here.
Yeah, I just had a black bean. It's good.
Yeah, you got the black bean burger. It did look good. I'm probably gonna get this chicken and waffles when 6 o'clock hit. And yeah, hey,
Thicker than
a
a
bowl of
bowl of
oatmeal.
oatmeal.
Hey, she had a fat ass. Okay? Thank you, man. It's Jack of All Trades podcast. We out. Yep.
If you wanna ride, you better make up your mind and choose up. If you wanna roll in the passenger seat of my car, you better make up your mind